I'm the one who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2.
The moment the car launched off the road was over in seconds. The impact shattered the stillness of a sleeping industrial park just outside Cleveland, Ohio. Inside the Toyota Camry, Dominic Russo, 20, was in the passenger seat. His friend, Davion Flanagan, 19, sat in the back. Both of them never made it out, but the driver, 17-year-old Mackenzie Sharilla, she miraculously survived. Police didn't yet know exactly what they were looking at, but when they pulled the vehicle's data, and when they saw the TikTok videos, it became something else entirely. By the way, this is Dark Case, and you can call me Jack. I bring you true crime documentaries and other things that you may later regret knowing. Please do join the amazingly supportive Dark Case family by hitting subscribe now, and make sure that you have all notifications turned on. The Dark Case newsletter is free and it only takes 5 seconds to join, like literally 5 seconds, and it means that you'll never miss a new episode ever again. I'm going to launch when we hit 500 members and we're at about 350 right now. And now it's time for my silly little question. Have you ever had what you believe to be a supernatural experience? Drop it down in the comments and I'll read every single one. I just want to quickly say that I am struggling to get back to comments right now, and that's because I'm making 4 videos a week and that kind of takes up my entire brain and all of my time too. But I promise that I do read everything. Also, Patreon and channel membership support goes a really long way and I can't thank you all enough. But of course, thank you. And now, on with the video. The crash happened in the early hours of July the 31st, 2022. It was around 5:30 a.m. It was a clear morning in Strongsville, Ohio, and the roads were nearly empty. And that's part of what made it so unsettling when emergency services arrived on Progress Drive. In front of them stood the Plidco building, a sturdy brick warehouse in a quiet business park. Embedded in the side of that building was a mangled 2018 Toyota Camry. The car had torn into the brick like a missile. Debris was scattered across the scene. There were no other vehicles in sight, and there were no skid marks, nor were there any tire impressions that would suggest hesitation or an attempt to stop. Inside the car, Dominic Russo and Davion Flanagan, they were already gone. Their bodies had absorbed the full force of the crash. Just a heads up that this next video clip is not an easy watch at all. It is the body cam footage of Dominic's mother being told about the crash. I am including it to truly show the impact this event had on the families involved.
So there was an incident that we believe Dominic may be involved.
What?
When was the last time you saw him?
Last night.
Last night?
Yeah, everybody was home. Why?
Okay.
What happened? I was with that little girlfriend because that's it.
His girlfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I seen one other kid over there, but I can't remember his name. He fixed his car for him. One of his friends fixed his car. I've only seen him a couple times over to fix. He's got like a classic car that the kid was fixing on.
Okay. White kid, black kid, do you know?
Yeah, like a mix kind of.
Okay.
I don't think he's real. I mean.
Okay.
Like.
So he was hanging out with his girlfriend and.
Well, I don't know if they were really hanging out. The kids come over like twice to work on the car. And
Okay.
That's usually what he's come over for, and then he's
Okay.
like, you know.
Okay. So, unfortunately, there was an accident. Okay, involving Mackenzie, Davion, and who we believe is Dominic is the third person.
An accident.
A car accident. Okay.
Where?
Last night.
Wait.
Just relax. Just hold on. Just stay seated. Just stay seated. Just hold on. Just listen.
Yes.
Listen.
Take a deep breath.
Christine, look at me. Take a deep breath.
Yeah, just take
a deep breath. Okay. Right now, all we know is that the driver, who was Mackenzie, is at Metro.
Right.
Okay.
Hold on. So yeah,
just stay seated, please.
Take your time.
Please, just relax. Take a deep breath.
That's
Take a deep breath.
That's okay. You're good. Take your time.
Take a deep breath. Okay. Is anybody else home here with you right now?
Christopher, but he's sleeping. Angela's in Florida. Wait, where's Mackenzie's mom?
Okay. They're down at Metro right now. Okay. The other 2 passengers, like I said, was Davion and well, who we believe is Dominic, okay?
Okay.
From what Mackenzie told us.
Okay.
Okay. Both Davion and Dominic are deceased.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Proceed.
Sit down.
In the driver's seat was Mackenzie Sharilla. She was unconscious but still alive. First responders noted that she wasn't breathing at first. She was pulled from the wreck in critical condition and then rushed to the hospital. It all looked like a tragic accident involving 3 friends. But almost immediately, questions began to emerge. Why had the crash happened in an industrial area where none of the teens worked or lived? Why that road? Why that building? And why were they even out at that hour? And most chilling of all, why had the car never even attempted to stop? Mackenzie grew up in the Cleveland suburb of Strongsville, Ohio. By all accounts, she was a pretty typical teenager. She was social, energetic, and known for her edgy style and presence on TikTok. But those who knew her best described 2 very different sides. There was the bubbly teen who posted prom pictures, who shared sentimental captions, and claimed her boyfriend was her soulmate. And then there was the side that was revealed in court, the side that sent threatening messages. She had been dating Dominic Russo for several years. It was one of those all-consuming teenage relationships. On social media, they appeared happy and inseparable, but behind the scenes, friends and family said that it was turbulent, an on-again, off-again situation. Passionate, yes, but often very toxic. Dominic Russo was 20 years old. He loved basketball, fashion, and had dreams of launching his own clothing brand. And he wasn't just Mackenzie's boyfriend, he was her best friend. He was her constant companion and her first love. Dominic's family said he was loyal to a fault. Even when things got rocky with Mackenzie, he still defended her. He would protect her, and he would try to calm her down when she spiraled. His siblings noticed the strain in their relationship, and they saw him pulling away. They also felt uneasy about how she treated him. There were fights, breakups, reconciliations, but no one, not even his own family, thought that things could possibly end the way they did. Then there was Davion Flanagan. He was 19. Davion was quiet and easygoing, and he definitely wasn't a part of the couple's drama. He was simply a friend looking for a ride home that night. Davion's father would later say that his son was nothing more than an innocent passenger. Prosecutors described him as cargo to drive their point home. He had just graduated high school, he'd been working at a local restaurant, and he was dreaming about the future. What he didn't know was that by stepping into Mackenzie's car that night, he was sealing his fate. Both families lost their sons in a split second, while Mackenzie survived the crash, and the grief she left behind was total, endless, at a level that no apology could touch, and no sentence could ever reverse. Dominic and Mackenzie's relationship started in their mid-teens. They met in high school and quickly became inseparable. And for a while it really did look like young love, but soon the cracks began to show. They broke up frequently, then made up just as fast. In the weeks after the crash, Mackenzie appeared shattered. Photos from her hospital bed showed her hooked up to machines, struggling to recover from her injuries. But the emotional fallout was far more complex. She told Dominic's mother that she didn't remember the crash. Later, she texted that she wanted to undergo hypnosis to try and retrieve her memories. I remember turning onto the street, and then my vision fades to black, she wrote. It really kills me not being able to remember anything. She began posting photos of Dominic online, things like prom pictures, vacation selfies, and all of them having sentimental captions. I miss you, Nug, she wrote in one post. Please, wait for me. And to some it looked like grief. But to others, it all felt performative, especially as TikTok videos surfaced showing Mackenzie at a concert and celebrating Halloween just weeks after the crash. Dominic's brother, Angelo, would testify that Mackenzie often treated Dominic unfairly and that the relationship pushed him away from his younger sibling. Christine, Dominic's older sister, said that the warning signs were there, they just weren't visible to everyone. She said he loved her, but it was complicated. In the days just before the crash, Mackenzie's TikTok account was painting a very different picture. She posted song lyrics about heartbreak and betrayal. Some were cryptic, some felt like threats, and to those who saw them later, they read like warning signs hidden in plain sight. Then came July the 31st. Mackenzie took a route that she didn't usually drive. It took her past the business park, and towards a building she'd visited a few days earlier, and now it was just after dawn. The area was quiet and empty, there were no witnesses, and at that moment her car became a weapon. Investigating officers had heard and found enough about who Mackenzie truly was. This is the available bodycam footage of her arrest.
Right back there, pal. Hi, Mackenzie. Step out for me. I'm Detective Jesus. I'm the one who's been investigating the crash. You're under arrest for aggravated murder ×2, okay? Nobody's gonna ask you any questions. Nobody's gonna bother you. Can I have your key, please?
Could you please be careful taking this one off so it doesn't break the bracelet, please?
You got it. You got it. You want my glass? No.
Thank you.
You got it. Yeah, just keep your hands right here. You're not gonna tighten these, okay? We don't want to hurt you.
I'm right by the black mat. Straightforward. Yep.
Okay, Mackenzie, I'm gonna take your handcuffs off. I need like all the jewelry and everything to come off, okay?
I can't wear any of it.
No, I need you to take it off while you're in the jail right now.
I can't wear these.
Now, unfortunately, everything's gonna have to come off right now once we know when the detective comes back and we know for sure what's going on. Everything's gonna be bagged up here. It's not going anywhere.
Sorry, this is just like one of those which is really hard to get off.
That's fine. Take your time.
Prosecutors would argue that her actions were premeditated, that this wasn't a girl who had snapped, but it was someone who had made a choice, someone who had sought out the perfect spot, and then carried out the attack with chilling precision. If there was any lingering doubt about Mackenzie's intent, it was pretty much erased by the evidence. In court, prosecutors played surveillance footage that was captured from a nearby industrial building. It showed her Toyota moving at a normal pace, and then accelerating rapidly as it turned onto Alameda Drive. In an instant, the car surged forwards, and then slammed into the side of the Plitco building at 100 miles per hour. The courtroom fell silent. Nobody watching could deny the brutality of that impact, but the most damning detail came from inside the car itself. A certified forensic mechanic examined the vehicle's event data recorder, which is basically the car's black box. It showed the gas pedal being pushed down to 100% in the final seconds before the crash. It also showed that there was no braking. There was no attempt to turn away. There was no moment of hesitation. The car didn't veer or fishtail. Instead, it aimed straight and hit its target with maximum force. Mackenzie's fuzzy Prada slipper, which was recovered from the scene, had been wedged against that accelerator to the floor. At her trial in 2023, Mackenzie faced 12 charges, 4 counts of murder, 4 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 1 count of substance possession, and 1 count of possessing criminal tools. The trial lasted 4 days. It was a bench trial, no jury. The decision would rest entirely with the judge. Mackenzie herself didn't testify, but just before sentencing, she stood and addressed the families. The families of Dominic and Davion. "I'm so deeply sorry," she said through tears. "I wish I could remember what happened." Her voice was cracking. "I would never let this happen or do this on purpose." But for the families in the room, especially the ones who had buried their sons, those words just weren't enough. In the summer of 2022, things began to escalate. Mackenzie had moved in with Dominic's family for a time, and it's deepened their connection, but it also built on tensions. The arguments now became more intense. Mackenzie was growing more possessive and more controlling, and according to Dominic's friends, she was becoming increasingly aggressive. In court, prosecutors zeroed in on two specific moments in the weeks leading up to this terrible crash. They argued that these incidents weren't just fights. They were previews of what Mackenzie was willing to do when she lost control. 2 weeks before the crash, something alarming happened. Whilst driving together on Interstate 71, they had a heated argument. In the midst of it, Mackenzie threatened to crash the car, with them both inside. A friend who was on the phone with Dominic at the time heard her say it plainly. "I will crash this car right now." Dominic asked his friend to come and pick him up. When his friend arrived, he saw Mackenzie pulled over on the side of the highway. The passenger door was now open, and she was reportedly striking Dominic with both hands before he climbed out the car and left. Behaviour that left everyone involved shocked, but it was actually the second incident that really caught the investigators' attention. Dominic recorded Mackenzie during another outburst. He didn't feel safe letting her into his house, so she banged on a door, screamed insults, and threatened to key his car. She even started counting down, daring him to open a door or face consequences. She reportedly said, "You're going to come open this door right now, or there's going to be a serious problem." So none of these were isolated moments. Instead, they painted a pattern, one of control, volatility, and of general emotional chaos. The recording, recovered from Dominic's phone after his passing, would later become critical evidence in the case. And it wasn't just words. Friends noticed bruises. There were rumours of smashed items and controlling behaviour. Dominic's mother said he started pulling away from his friends, staying close to Mackenzie even when it made him miserable. There was a storm that had been building for months, and it was about to break out. The courtroom was packed with grieving family members, with reporters, and with stunned onlookers. Many expected the harshest possible sentence, and many desperately wanted it. Davion Flanagan's sister pleaded for it. "She always takes the easy way out," she said. "Give her the longest sentence you can." Christine Russo, Dominic's mother, called Mackenzie merciless. "Be thankful you're still alive," she told her in court, "because my son is not." But not everyone agreed with this sentiment. Frank Russo, Dominic's father, offered a strikingly different perspective. "I lost my son," he said, "but I don't want the rest of her life ruined too." He described Mackenzie as a kid who made a horrible, irreversible choice. He added, "It's not going to make me feel better to see her locked up forever." Judge Nancy Russo acknowledged the pain in the room. I understand that many people want me to impose the harshest sentence," she said. Before the sentence was read, Mackenzie stood again. Now she cried. "I wish I could take all your pain away," she told the families. "Dom was my soulmate. We were all friends." She said she spent months crying in her room, laying next to a shrine that she built for Dominic. Her mother described her as broken. "I'm asking for leniency," she said, because this was a tragic accident that she doesn't remember. But the judge had already made up her mind. This didn't appear to be one moment of carelessness. Instead, it was an intentional act. The phrase echoed through the courtroom like a warning shot. Literal hell on wheels. That's how Judge Russo described Mackenzie as she handed down her verdict. It wasn't a casual insult, it wasn't a diagnosis. It was a summation of what prosecutors had spent months trying to prove. That Mackenzie had morphed from an ordinary teenage girl into something unrecognizable behind the wheel of that car. She morphs from a responsible driver, the judge said, to hell on wheels as she makes her way down the street. And those final seconds caught on camera told a story that no defense could explain away. The acceleration, the sudden turn, the deliberate path into the building. She didn't just lose control, she was in control until the very end. And then the consequences. On August 21st, 2023, Mackenzie Sharilla was sentenced to 2 terms concurrently of 15 years to life. This was a maximum allowed under the specific charges that she was convicted of. But this also meant that she could be eligible for parole in just 15 years. Be careful out there, and I'll see you soon.